2020, and you're probably expecting me to say the draft just happened. Not this week. Something different happened this week. A player, maybe one of the most people consider the greatest of all time, switches teams after 19 years. Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and some people had some takes on Twitter, and if people have takes, we're going to call them out for it. So here we go. We're going to start off with a banger. I love this one. A, because the picture. B, because it's just funny to me. Bento says, with a very nice picture of Shaq in a Celtics jersey, when the Bucks still suck, Bucks fans going to say this is the Tom Brady they had. This one just made me laugh.
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty good tweet. I don't even know what else to say, but that is a fantastic picture of. Yeah, I'm thinking I kind of forgot to even play. I remember him playing for the Cavs because it was over.
Yeah.
But then I'm like when I saw him, like, oh yeah, he played for the Celtics too. Not quite prime time. Shaquille O'Neal there. That was a pretty good tweet. We thought we'd start off with a bang there. I like this one. This one here says, how can Winston be a bust when he has the most, I assume, combined yards per game of all quarterbacks in the NFL? Okay, that's kind of a weird thing to put out there. But okay,
pick and choose your stats.
Okay, he's the only quarterback in the NFL, only quarterback in NFL history to average 250 yards passing in a game in every season. He averages more than his successor, Tom Brady, 262. Has a higher yards per attempt average, blah, 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 and he's only 26, not 42. So I think what this guy is saying that Jameis Winston, I think he's claiming that Jameis Winston is the greatest quarterback of all time.
There's no other way to read that. There's no other way to read that tweet.
That's exactly how I'm reading it.
Has nothing to do that he was on crappy teams that had to throw all the time. Has nothing to do with that. This has those vibes when you see those stats. Mainly you see them in baseball. Like this guy has the most home runs between March 13th and March 15th when the temperature is 72 degrees. Like this has those vibes to me. It's like I want to make a point that Jameis Winston is great and he's better than Tom Brady, and I'm going to find the exact stats that I need to do that.
He has the best hitting percentage west of the Mississippi or something. So like over the course of these arbitrary dates, there's always the fun.
He hits the best in July in Dodger Stadium when there's a full moon. So that's just the vibes on that one were hilarious to me, and I really, really enjoyed them. Next up, we've got the standard start. The bust will be Brady when he gets sacked 5 times a game. I don't think that's happened, which he's never been accustomed to. All right, facts there. And he gets hurt and can't play. Okay. He will still make his $30 million, and the Bucks are set back another 20 years because of their stupidity. When it comes to patience, I butchered the timing on reading that sentence. When it comes to patience and how to build a team, I'm leaving that in. I'm just an idiot. You guys have to learn that. So I think anybody who has seen our stuff knows why we picked this one for the most part. A, it's a bad take. None of this is accurate. But B, it's hidden. But this is GM hate, and we love GM hate.
Yeah, so they snuck it in at the end. I'm reading it. I'm going through it. I'm like, okay, just a standard tweet. Maybe throw it at the beginning. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And then, you get a little bit of GM hate, just a little taste of it. And I got to include that, especially because there wasn't a ton of GM hate this week, which is like just an atrocity.
Well, in Twitter's defense, it's tough to hate a GM for bringing in the greatest of all time, even if he is what we thought passed maybe on the back end of his career.
That maybe that's fair. All right, we have Tampa Bay beat at Tampa Bay beat 1. Tampa Bay beat was taken, so Tampa Bay beat 1. He said so. He lives in Tampa. He's got Tampa Bay beat. I feel like this is going to be a great take. He lives in Tampa. He can see firsthand. I mean, he can't because this is right out. He hasn't seen Brady play, but he lives in Tampa, so I'm assuming it means something.
Yeah.
Let me set you straight. Ronald Jones is a bust, okay, because he lives in Tampa. He would have known that. O.J. Howard is a near bust. Again, he lives in Tampa. Brady couldn't get the Bucks to 2 overtimes they lost. Offensive line is below average. 7-9 is the ceiling. Will likely finish 3rd in the division. Didn't happen. There, you're smarter. I got a question. Did the Buccaneers finish 7-9 and 3rd in the division? Do you remember that?
I mean, I would have to look up to be 100% sure, but I don't believe that's what happened.
Yeah, I think they
I
did slightly
believe
better than that.
I do. I think they may have played a game at the end of the season on a neutral field. I think
Yeah,
that may have happened.
and it worked out well for them as well.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, that was a new. I'm trying to remember that Super Bowl. I don't know if that was on neutral field. I think I just lied.
Oh,
Wasn't
that
that the
might have been
year? I think it was
what
at
actually
Tampa.
was in Tampa.
So
I mean, they say, but it's you get both teams on the field, like you have them on each of the end
yeah.
zone and all that. So it's kind of
Yes, we let you have this one because it's one of your favorite things when somebody claims to be an expert just because they live in the city where something is happening. Um, I can say firsthand, I live in a city. I don't know anything that's happening in this city because it's not that important to me. So I don't think that makes you an expert on everything that happens within that border. All right, next one. When will people realize that Tom Brady is old AF? That's actually not a terrible take. He is old for football standards. Very, very fair. Showed signs of aging last year and will probably suck ass for the next 2 years if he even makes it that far. If I were a Buck fan, I'd be pissed. Couple things on this one. I can say safely did not suck ass for the 2 years. He did make it that far. And I don't think Buck fans are pissed.
no. I think Brady, I know, takes some time off. I think he's getting like rest days on Wednesdays now. I'm pretty sure they'll be like, what, take all the time you need. Tom Brady.
Brady could show up a half an hour before the game on Sundays, and they would
Just don't
gladly
even
let
show
him
up
play
in
quarterback.
practice. Just have somebody in there practicing. They're like, we'll figure it out. Brady's so good, he'll figure it out on game day. Yeah, I think it worked out okay for.
I think he went 0 for 3 on this one. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say that.
not the best take. Okay, so now we're bringing in Bill Belichick because we haven't brought him in. He was coached Brady for a long time, considered the greatest coach of all time. We'll see. This AP guy says. Just remember that if Bill Belichick didn't draft Brady, okay, he didn't draft him. He probably would have been a pre-Manziel. Now, that I don't even understand how that makes any sense. A kid with at least some talent that turned out to be a bust wherever he went. So Tom Brady, I think, or when you look at the draft, what do you consider bust? Have you ever in your life heard of a 6th round bust? Like, has that ever?
I don't think that can be a thing. I just don't think I don't think you can factually call anybody a bust that is drafted. I'll say after the 3rd round, and even honestly, 2nd, 3rd rounds are tough to call him a bust. 6th round, that's not a bust.
Question: Jalen Reagor. Have you heard that name before? Out of TCU.
I don't know if we need to bring him into this, but proceed.
He was considered a bust, though. I'm just trying to give people kind of a guideline, kind of where you would find a bust at. Jalen Reagor, drafted out of TCU.
I don't think we can say that with confidence yet.
Yeah, he might revitalize his career in Minnesota, but
I will go change my shirt right now and do a TCU shirt if that's what needs to happen. Yes. Butler busting my balls aside. I think it is factually inaccurate to call anybody in the 6th round a bust. Because I haven't looked at the numbers, but if you had to guess, 50% of 6th round draft picks don't make the roster.
probably more, honestly. And why did he pick Manziel though? I don't even understand the comparison between Manziel. Like there
was a lot of Manziel hate right there. I think that was just an
Yeah,
easy.
okay.
I think it was an easy go-to. I don't think he had any look at the tweet. There wasn't a ton of logic in there. So I think it was less about I'm going to compare him to Manziel. Is everybody else hates Manziel? This will get me some traction, and it got him some traction a couple years later in the form of this YouTube video.
Yeah. Josh Doxson, that was his name, right? Was he a bust too, as well?
So next up we have nothing about Tom Brady and Tampa Bay is cool. He's going to suck. The team's going to suck. They will be playing boring Week 14 games against the Redskins. First of all, sir, that is offensive. They are the Commanders. We don't say that anymore. It's unacceptable. Second of all, you're wrong. He didn't suck. The team didn't suck. The Week 14 game, I don't recall that season. Could have been boring because they'd already locked up the playoffs. That's possible. But I know for a fact we don't say that word anymore. In fact, we don't bleep any. I want you to bleep when I said it because now I feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, they might. You were right though. boring Week 14 game. It very well might have been just because
Yeah.
they were on cruise control. I don't even remember what the record was that year. I'm not. I don't know.
That
But
that was years ago.
that
What do
would,
you want from
well,
me?
again, take a little bit of research or what
Yeah.
you know what. Come
We don't have the budget for that, and by budget I mean care to.
on. I'm sure they were good. They were good enough to make the playoffs and then win the Super Bowl. So okay. What's the second to last one called? Remind me.
Oh, I love it. I don't know why I love that word so much.
All right, Trevor here. Red Sox Rush at Red Sox Rush here. The Bucks are going to suck, even with Brady at the helm. We have 6 rings. So Red Sox Rush, you can imagine. I'm assuming he's talking about
A bump.
He's a Patriots fan, right? We have 6 rings that have and they have hardly a 1. Go Patriots. So question: what does it mean to have hardly 1 ring? Because I actually remember this game. I watched this one and I don't know why this one is so in. Maybe I was a Tony Dungy. I don't remember Mike Allstott. Maybe like what was the reason I would have been
Mike
so
Allstott,
work done days? But like it was a complete bloodbath. This game was over like in the first quarter. Tampa Bay just it wasn't like a cheated game or anything like that. It was complete just destruction of the then Oakland Raiders. I don't really know what this means by hardly a 1.
So I'm gonna just sidetrack. You're right. That's ridiculous. A Super Bowl ring is a Super Bowl ring, and they didn't you don't limp your way into the Super Bowl, so you weren't accidentally there. I don't know what it is, and we knew each other when that Super Bowl was out, but we did not watch the Super Bowl together. I vividly remember that Super Bowl more than any other Super Bowl as well, and I don't know why. Like I could tell you whose house I was at when I watched it. I haven't talked to that person in a decade, and I can tell you exactly what their house looked like. For some reason, that Super Bowl is drilled in my head. I think it's because it was kind of a surprise. I think that might have been it. I think Oakland was heavily favored in that Super Bowl, and they kind of got routed. But yes, I don't know how you hardly have a ring. You have a ring or you don't have a ring. There's no, I hardly have a, unless the only way I can see that is if somehow the refs really screwed something up in a Super Bowl. But even then, you made it to the Super Bowl and you made it close enough where the refs could. You still have a ring. I don't know why I'm so angry about this. They earned that Super. Hardly, it doesn't make any sense. If all he had to say was they only have 1, and that this tweet doesn't make it because then you're just stating facts.
The only thing I could think of, he was saying they're trying to show the comparison between 6 and 1. It's but it's kind of a weird word to use. It's just it doesn't make any sense. But he's okay, they only have 1, and that's what he was going for. I'm assuming, as opposed to hardly. But
well, then say that.
Yeah, say that. Come on. This is.
Look how angry you've made.
Use English well, okay? Goodly. Yeah. Come on.
This is supposed to be a fun show where we lightly roast people, and now I'm angry. And there's only one way to finish this out, and it is with the greatest NFL analyst of them all, Evan's wife. Evan tweets, "My wife said the Bucs would continue to suck after they drafted Jameis. She said it after the 9-7 season in 2016. She said it again after Fitzmagic. I don't know why we gotta have Fitzmagic hate in this episode. That seems rude. She said it after Bruce Arians was hired. She's now saying it after Tom Brady. I think she knows way more than we do." Wrong.
Yeah.
First of all, I love the fact. I just love the fact that no, my wife is super smart about this stuff. She knows everything. She called it all.
I also like the fact that we are smarter than her because we're also looking at it in 2 years in the future. So, yes. Sorry.
Welcome to the premise for this channel.
Yeah. So Evan's wife looks like maybe this was her only bad take. Maybe she's still It's just...
Hey, in her defense, 80% is not bad. 80% is pretty good.
Assuming Evan's not lying, assuming he's not just making up this whole story. We haven't.
Does Evan even have a wife?
That's what I'm wondering too. Does he even have a wife? That's exactly where I was going with that.
I think you're onto something. I think he was just trying to pretend like these weren't his takes, and I think he made the whole thing up.
It could be.